In this case, though, a heck of a lot of ward coverage, already 2 on the bottom half here from Mousesports, and 1 on both sides of mid here for Giants.
And I definitely think we need to keep our eyes on that minimap throughout this game, because the majority of that early game for Mousesports, they had absolutely amazing ward coverage, especially in the Dragon area, and I cannot stress it enough. I tend to throw my eyes down there fairly often, just in terms of the ward coverage, especially in the first 10 minutes of the game. And I don't think I've seen a team this weekend who's had better or more consistent overall ward coverage in that area.
Oh, hold on. Sorry, but Mousesports is doing something I think incredibly tricky. They're looking for a Gambit first blood here.
We'll see if this does actually work out. You can see the timer. It is starting to get to that time where creeps are coming in. Kuja is coming up. The pink ward goes down. The dazzle does land into Samix. Halo Barrows is down. He's been held in place. Are they going to get first blood? That's the question. He flashes over the wall. There's no ignite ticking on him. I can't see his HP. It's incredibly low. Naruchiador needed to land one more hit. 18 health. Samux gets away with his life and is thanking the lucky stars that he did not give Mousesports a first blood.
That was incredibly close, and the only thing that really saved him was the fact that Warhunter went teleport and not ignite. He was a single auto attack away from dying, but no one could get quite in range in time. What a lucky escape there.
And I cannot... 18 health. I mean, what can you say to that? So they managed to get to safety. Exhaust was blown by Tariq. I'm looking at the rest of Mousesports. No other summoner spells blown. And, you know, it's extremely lucky. We'll see how that pans out, how this affects this game. We once again do see the lane matchups being swapped, except I believe in the previous matchup it was Giants who put their AD carry top lane and sent Katarina bottom. This time round it is, of course, Mousesports performing that lane swap on the blue side.
Well, it's going to be, I think, a little bit better for Young Buck overall. He's got pretty good wave clear, anti-push, and actually sustain here on Renekton. It sucks a little bit being fully melee, but he's got a better chance overall.
Morden moves over towards Naruchiador's blue buff, sneaks in there, throws out one undertow, and did not have smites available, so he heard the little clunking, didn't decide to go in aggressive at all, and instead does decide to just back off. So Bafana and Kuja up in the top lane, 15 CS to this 80 cannon, 11. In terms of, you know, team fight presence and what they're going to offer, both Wukong and Renekton have, you know, a great foothold that they can show. You know, Wukong obviously dealing a huge amount of damage with Cyclone. The longer he's left unchecked, the longer you're in his aura, it'll deal damage. Dominus, slightly less so in the AoE, but he, of course, applies a little bit more on, you know, single on-hit damage, and of course he's got that stun which he can apply as well. Who do you prefer without CS and items?
Without items, I think Wukong just performs more purpose because he has, at the very least, a potential 5-target knockup. So no matter what happens, he's going to have something to do there, and he's got something to contribute into this game. Mousesports, though, they're just looking to shut him down. They've snuck Shen into that top rush. Yeah,
they're definitely afraid of this Wukong, and at the EU LCS, we've seen a number of phenomenal Wukong performances. I believe Xpeke had a great game with Wukong in his first matchup of the day against Nexus, and then, of course, there was a Wukong on the Giants. I believe it was Samix's Wukong as well that, you know, really helped them against that Fnatic roster and kept them pinned down while Extra's Rise was just tearing them apart. Naruchiador's been hanging around in this top lane. He's looking for some pressure, but in the middle, Warhunter forced to flash. Didn't even flash away, he just walked away from the game.
Very nice job by him. Keeping Rise safe is very, very important because he is really the hardest scaling mage, I think really even the hardest scaling character in this game right now, but Rise is notoriously late game focused to get tanky and deal a heck of a lot of damage. Now they're going for a dive, I think, at the top lane. Naruchiador's
been here for such a long time. He just walks towards the tower, reveals himself, and Samux just backs off. If he gets close enough, they may try to set something up, but Morden is going to be in range to assist. At the end of the day, they just put some damage down to this top tower, and Naruchiador wastes, you know, 20-30% of his red buff duration and loses out on a lot of experience and gold. 9 CS to the 22 of Olaf. Keep in mind, Morden has been in lane a couple times. You know, he's shown his presence in the top. But, you know, that's a big, big difference at this stage in the game.
It is a really, really big deal. Shen spent a lot of time without much reward. A very good job counter-warding was done by Giants to sort of watch for those same sort of invades. They actually put a very early ward down in that same brush that Mousesports had warded last game, the one by the double golems looking for sort of the background AD, the background jungle support. But they're just trying to go for this pressure on the turret, just like last game.
Yeah, and it's really, really interesting. We see they are going to go on to Morden as they land the stun. Teleport comes out from Warhunter, and a very, very clinical first blood. They learn from the mistakes of the first matchup, and they combo all of their abilities and all of the damage together to pick up a very easy kill and balance out that tower score. I was just about to say how scary it was for Mousesports because they were falling behind in terms of levels, in terms of gold, but better gets caught up by Youngbuck, but he's got the support of Jim Bones down there in the bottom lane. But securing first blood in that tower, it makes his time up there worthwhile.
Absolutely, and that's actually, in retrospect, what that ward was for. The ward is down in that brush because it gives a free flank to that mid laner to show up and make that kill happen. Very, very nice situation.
And we see Samox has got caught out with a dazzle, gets taunted up by Shen. He's going to decoy away, but Warhunter is close by. Samox decides to go back in with the Nimbus strike of his Kuja, forced to flash to safety. And Rise picks up the second kill of the game. Mousesports are looking pretty good right now. Babetsa gets a good slow core down into Narutio Door as Morden is stunned up, and without Ragnarok, he cannot break that and carry on with the pressure. But with all the time that Mousesports have spent in that top lane, Exeter has pushed down that middle lane quite extensively and got it down to, a couple hundred hit points.
And that is going to be a scary situation here for Mousesports. That turret is likely to die around the time the Golem buff respawns, which could give Giants a lot of control over the jungle and allow them to actually steal quite a bit of the jungle in this sort of early mid-game situation. Now, the thing to point out, though, is just compare those solo laners. You talked about, who's going to do better with 0 minion kills, and I said it was going to be Wukong. However, he's at 14, but Youngbuck's at 45. He's actually outlast hitting Rise. He's in a 1v2 and is outlast hitting his mid laner.
Yeah, especially, when you look at that, Morden is sneaking down his bottom lane. We'll see if anything can come from that. But, that gank and that pressure in the top lane, the amount of time that Warhunter has spent trying to select those kills is what has allowed Youngbuck to pull ahead in the farm. Overall, though, at the 8-minute mark, this is substantially less CS than what we're used to seeing out of the teams, but there is a little bit more funny business going on, in terms of the matchups, in terms of lane swapping, teleport ganks, pushing towers, etc., and that obviously has an effect on your CSing ability.
And it's worth it for Mousesports overall, because they've gotten themselves 2 kills and a turret from all these antics, so even on an individual basis, they're getting more gold from assist gold or from turret gold. And darn right, Warhunter is going to be happy with this. He'll happily sacrifice 13 minion kills if it means 700 gold worth of champions.
Yeah, that is true. And the scary thing about the kills and where the gold's going, they're both in Rise's back pocket. He hasn't got a substantial lead in gold over his lane counterpart, but that is because Exeter's had a lot of time to free farm. Youngbuck is going quite aggressive, and Samox cannot get in range to stun him up. But the slice and dice and kill the meat drops him quite low. And at 8 minutes, having a Tear of the Goddess as well as that Ruby Crystal, Warhunter is going to be, very scary in the next 5 to 10 as he starts to gain a couple more items and, doing it somewhat quicker than what Exeter can because of those kills.
Yep, he's got the Tear of the Goddess completed. Catalyst the Protector is not going to be all that far away. He's actually got enough to build it right now. So he's going to have a ludicrously fast Rod of H's. The Tear of the Goddess is going to get full really, really quickly. And I'm interested to see which item Warhunter goes for, because he'll cap his tier so quickly. If he goes for Manamune, he's saying, yes, I want to just be the highest damage output character I can be and just kill things off with the Muramana damage. But if he goes Archangels, he's looking to be tanky and get the Seraph's Embrace Mana Shield.
Now we'll see how this plays out as Kuja sneaks forward, trying to get in range for the dazzle as Shen is hiding in the bush. This is Giant's vision. We do go back to full spectator vision, and you see that Naruto Do is backing away from that gank. He doesn't want to spend another 4 minutes in lane trying to set something up. Warhunter with a blue buff, even though he's low, that'll regen very, very quickly. And, this next couple of minutes is going to be a good chunk of mana added to that Tear of the Goddess. We were making some jokes on stream too yesterday that Jason Kaplan feeds off the tears of professional players that have been knocked out of the tournament. And, if Mousesports can get that tier fueling, with that power, maybe they can knock Giants down to Lost Jaw Sunday.
There's a good chance for them here. They're up to a very, very good start. Their team will scale amazingly in the late game, but Mord is looking for a counterattack gank up top.
And we'll see how this works out. There's no vision for Mousesports, so if Kuja steps forward, he may be in trouble. Jim Bones is going to go a little bit forward, goes aggressive, puts the stun down. Kuja is completely stun locked, and he is going to get shut down, but Babetta has taken so much damage down from Prathana, and with Warhunter teleporting in, they're going to trade 1 for 1. Babetta will lose his life to Prathana, and that massive attack speed buff is now on Morden. but Morden has been chunking down Warhunter. Extra has now joined the fight. That's a double kill for Prathana, and with the fact that he's got the distance, the last auto attack from the Vine of Extra actually picks up a kill onto Rise and secures him that blue buff, so they end up
and you're seeing teleport so very, very potent, really worth bringing out in this game.
Yeah, especially when you use it to continually gank. You know, every time it's up, wait either to set something up or go. I see down in the bottom lane, Cyclone is out onto Youngblood. He's been ticking away. Dominus is there, so the AoE damage is chasing, and with the amount of damage Morden is going to offer, they should be able to close this out. But Youngblood gets a great hit onto Morden before he finally goes down to one last auto attack from that Jade Monkey. So that's going to give them the third kill of the game and potentially Dragon at 5-3 and the gold being this close. If they get the timer on this Drake and start to cement some form of control, that'll be a little bit of a change, because in the previous game it was Mousesports that really dominated and maximized their gold lead in that Drake. In the middle lane, Extra's been caught out, and just a very easy kill, shut down by 3 members of Mouse.
There's just so much damage there, and Warhunter actually, he's going super aggressive. He's upgraded to Sorcery Shoes, so I'm going to guess Muramana's coming out there. I'm going to guess he's going for just as much damage as possible and trying to blitz things down. Mousesports has so much early game power right here. They can keep just chaining kills together and stop Giants from ever getting to start that AoE team composition.
Yeah, that's so true, and especially, you know, we were saying this earlier, and that if an AoE team falls behind, it's so hard to make up that deficit and come back into a matchup.
Yes.
Especially when you've got Rise, Shen, and Renekton who you're facing off against. You know, Renekton, just naturally without any items, is very beefy and tanky, and when he throws that Dominus on, he gets a good chunk of HP. So it's going to be so hard for, you know, Kennen, who's not necessarily the straight up direct burst. He needs time for the Maelstrom and the auto attacks to go in. Same with Cyclone. It needs time to charge and wind up and continually burst them down. And Rise, on the other hand, he's a massive bursty mage.
Yes, and you're actually looking at everyone's builds, and they're all kind of going that way. Even Renekton, Youngbuck, last game rushed to Warmogs. This time, getting a Brutalizer up there. He's saving a bit of money. You might see him go Bloodthirster. I'm not really quite sure which way he goes for this one. I'll wait to see what he picks up. But he's already itemized much more damage base than he had last time.
Yeah, and in terms of CS, a 30 CS lead over Samux's Wukong. This matchup and this lane is going a little bit more in his favor than the previous game did. Admittedly, you know, there were lanes swapped and you know, towers pushed down. Really swing of it in game number 1 of this series. But as long as he can carry on playing on what's arguably his signature champion, he does get a very good stun down onto Jumbones. The Chain of Corruption comes out, and Babetta just gets decimated. His HP disappears before your eyes, and he's blown up, and Jumbones is going to be able to get to safety at least. But the amount of damage from that Blighted Quiver proc, as well as Youngbuck's, you know, Rage W stun, it's just huge.
It is absolutely massive. And the thing is, that's only even rank 1 of that Ruthless Predator, the W from Renekton. But it's a chain of crowd control. They've got Renekton to start things off. They follow up with Kuja's stun. They follow up with Prathana's Chain of Corruption. And they just bring things down by crowd controlling until they fall over.
Yeah, I cannot believe how low that went. And now take a look at this now. Jimbones is under a little bit more trouble, but Extra has joined this party. Morden's going to carry on chasing. A great Stranglethorns comes out, but doesn't manage to catch anybody. It was in the right place, but the movement speed and the dashing abilities from the bottom. Samuk sneaks into the teleport. He's got one already. Then they turn the pressure onto Rise. He was the danger man. If Extra can get a good grasping roots, they may be able to get a third kill of this engagement. Warhunter and Prathana were the first 2 victims as Kuja and Youngbuck are trying to run away. Jimbones is going to farm, flash, grasping roots. Kuja has been caught out, gets a deadly bloom. The plants are there. They're going to get a great crushing blow and a beautiful slow once again from Babetta, maximizing those chords efficiency, lands the power chord and applies the slow. Youngbuck is going to be the next victim to fall, and that is an amazing team fight for Giants. They lost the battle in the lane, they lost the tower, but they turned it around, picked up the kills, and all of a sudden they're now in the lead.
I am so impressed by their ability to chain that fight together and just keep landing that little bit extra and make the next kill happen. It all started from a great teleport. Actually, here just comes Morden trying to chunk down the Richard.
Gonna be able to carry on chasing him. A good flash from Nuritiador means he gets away from the undertow. Morden actually misses that one. That was a bit of a whiff, but Samux is there. He's low on mana, so he's going to be careful. He does manage to apply the red buff at least, and with that last auto attack, that is going to be a dead Nuritiador. But that's a very tanky Shen. I mean, actually, he's not even that tanky. He's only got the claws. We see that Rise gets caught out once again. Jimbones of Abeto trying to set something up. The Vine applies one slowing attack. And Warhunters does manage to get to safety. He had to burn his flash though.
Yes, and you mentioned how tanky Shen was. He just one-shotted a Warmog's armor.
Well, there we go. Okay, so I was preparing it. I knew he was going to be tanky.
You told the future.
It took quite a while for Morden and Morden to chase him down. Admittedly, though, if you look at Olaf's build, he's just got HP, and that's the reasoning for it. He hasn't really got the ability to chunk any, burst anybody down right now. 3 points into that reckless swing. It will be hitting hard, but he missed a couple of those undertows, and that's really why Shen survived quite as long as he did.
Yeah, but they eventually did chain that one down. Olaf, one of the best chasers in the game, just lands undertow, walks up, picks it up, keeps throwing that one down. That's going to be very important here for Giants. Is just kind of having Olaf find those kills out of nowhere, and suddenly they just, of course, completely turned this game around. I think you saw an extended ace, basically. Every single member of Mousesports just died over the last minute and a half with no answer. And so that early game, it just was Mousesports all the time. They made all the right moves, and suddenly it's been flipped.
Yeah, so true. Have a look at your CS numbers at the bottom of the score now. We've got 17 minutes of the game passed, 8-7. The gold is relatively close, but look at the CS difference. Youngbuck clearly winning over Samux. In the middle lane, Extra miles ahead in terms of creeps, but because Warhunter has those kills and those map objectives, he's actually as close as even as possible on gold. And once again, we see Jimbones out CSing Prathana. This AD Cannon, it's something that Jimbones obviously has played a lot, and he's doing very, very well in keeping up his creep score and earning his gold and farming his way to items.
Yes, and the thing is, Mousesports is still in a pretty good shape. Is still in pretty good shape here. Yes, they've got a couple of item breakpoints behind in some of these situations. They've got the Infinity Edge already done here for Jimbones because of his amazing laning, as you pointed out. But realistically, Mousesports is in this kind of situation where they just need to keep the pressure up. You just saw them pick up their third turret. That's really, really important. They're going to keep sending Nurituador to keep shoving off from the sides and just try to split push and constantly do that. And it's good for them because Samux right now does not have teleport up. He's still got a minute and a half to wait on that one. And so as long as Shen can out 1v1, he's going to be in really good shape here because he'll be able to pull off 5v4s.
And take a look at this top lane. That's Samux and Nurituador. They've been fighting for 10 seconds already. A teleport is coming in. That is that Warhunter. He's going to try get in range. Samux throws the Cyclone out just to get that movement speed increase as quick as possible. Morden is going to be able to secure the Dragon for Giants, and Samux is taking everybody on a wild goose chase. He might be able to get dazzled up here. He has been stunned. The Rune Prison will hold him in place. He gets a Nimbus Strike in the back, but does get shut down. Losing one for Drake, and now potentially getting Prathana in a tower. Stand United is being used. Prathana is going to get held in place by Grasping Roots, and Giants are going to decide to back off. It's a very nice play from Giants. They lose one, but they gain Dragon, and you're going to be happy with that trade any day of the week.
But they're now into a 5-on-4, so they've completely now given, I would say, temporary map control to Mousesports. Unfortunately, it only turns into a take on the Lizard. With Dragon gone, with no turrets in range, they unfortunately can't use that 5-on-4 for anything. So a really nice move there by Giants, especially by Samux, to pull people away, force the teleport burn from Warhunter, and then the rest of the team collapsed down knowing they had a 4-on-3 at Dragon and it was theirs.
Well, something interesting that I was just looking at and toying to myself, thinking about when we were looking at the CS numbers, you've got two non-traditional AD carries, Varus and Kennen. They both do the role. They're both, take a look at this. Beautiful reaction from Prathana. He immediately locks Jimbones in place, but the damage is too high. One more lightning show can close it out, and Kennen picks up what was a very good kill, but amazing chain of corruption. The second that Kennen showed his face in that lane, he tossed out that ultimate and rooted him in place. And it leads me beautifully into my question. Kennen and Varus, two non-traditional ADs, they both offer utility to their team.
Yeah.
And obviously, the pick of Varus is so intelligent from Mousesports. If Samux, Morden, Extra, Jimbones dive in and they get caught by a chain of corruption and they're stacking their AoE, they're going to just get rooted and snared in place.
Yes.
As soon as that runs out, then all of a sudden, the question is who's going to be more important, because you can't, of course, root Olaf with that chain of corruption.
That's true, but Olaf, thankfully for Mousesports, is the jungler, so he's going to have less gold than someone like Samix or Exter, and so he won't be able to like run up to Prothana and win that fight. Prothana will always be able to out 1v1 Morden unless he's completely caught in the open as a 1v1, but you'll see just area of effect damage just start plinking Morden. You'll see the team around there. Tarek's going to be able to lend the armor aura, the bonus damage from his ultimate, things like that. And so, they're not going to dive in and kill Prothana first in a fight, and so he'll be able to put out damage constantly, and he'll always do well.
Top tower is being dropped down, and we've come back to the pace of Giants and against all authority. It is a slowdown in the matchup. It is just a little bit of a farm fest as we wait for ultimates to be available and teams to really commit to engagements. But with all outer towers down on both sides of the river, it's now going to be whichever team is able to make the aggressive plays happen that should be able to pick up the map victory.
And honestly, either team could do that. Both teams have the ability to engage pretty successfully. As long as Sona has flash available, and as long as Wukong has flash available, they can initiate a fight with either one. And
they can try a flash grasping route. Unfortunately, it does miss, but this is a little bit more aggressive from Giants. We didn't see this in the first matchup. Those, sort of opportunities where they're going to let's make something happen. Unfortunately, it didn't work out this time.
Jimbo's been
and without that flash, we'll see what can happen. Jimbo's is going to use that lightning rush to get to safety in the river, and the Giants are a little bit split for this engagement. Stand United is available for Shen if he does need to use it to jump into an engagement, and Olaf is sneaking away there on the backside. I'm looking at the items really quickly, and you can see that War Hunter has not actually decided to finish that Manamune first. Going to go a little bit more defensive, a little bit more tanky, and that's just going to benefit them all the more. Survive the burst, carry on fighting, and re-engage in your opponents. Key though, Black Cleaver is finished for Wukong, and it looks like it's being it's going to be a Warmogs for Renekton. So Wukong's going to be offering more DPS, but maybe not quite as much. Actually, he's going to have the same HP. They've got the same, Giant's Belt and Ruby Crystal. So here's an item ahead because of Towers and Dragon.
Exactly. Samix is up over 1,000 gold over Young Buck. So despite kind of taking a pit stop to clear out taking a pit stop to clear out the Black Cleaver and finishing that up, he's kind of just paid for that by being ahead as a team. So the ability of his team to take dragons over and over has really snowballed him into a great situation. And the thing to point out also is that War Hunter has sort of realized, oh wow, this Giants team does a lot of damage, and he's kind of turned around and said, I need to build tankier. He's built the Glacial Shroud. The Rod of Ages, of course, finished a while ago, but I think Archangels, if he ever finally upgrades the tier, is what's next.
Take a look at this now. We see the Grass Minutes coming down as well as the Crescendo. Kucha forced to flash to safety, but Mousesports have engaged. They're behind the tower, and they did not get the tower down. Look at the immense speed from that Home Guard boots on Wukong. He is simply motoring across the map. Sona picks up the kill credit down onto War Hunter's Rise, as Naruto does get a very nice dash, but the Nimbus Strike actually follows him through the wall. I think he cast that spell at the exact second that Naruto dived backwards. Giants have not only defended the tower, they've picked up 2 kills because Mousesports were aggressive, and they were not in a position to defend that. They had Kennen in the top lane, they had Wukong in the bottom lane. He was able to recall, then teleport and get that Home Guard Cyclone speed boost, and it was phenomenal.
That was absolutely amazing by Giants, and this was a team, Game 1 and Game 2, that has such good counter-engage overall. And fighting a 4-on-5 on their turret, because they have so much crowd control, so much damage output, so much AoE, they are happy to take that kind of fight. Mouse thought they could force the issue, they knew Kennen was far away, and they still couldn't make it happen.
Need to be very careful as Morden actually goes extremely low on that Baron, and Giants wisely decide to back off. Youngbuck is moving up just to scout, and we'll see if he's going to place some wards down. Let's get a little sight on the Baron, realizes that nobody's going for it, and the question is now, will Mousesports decide to risk Baron? And can Giants get back in time? Pinkwater's there, they're clearing out the vision, and they're just making sure that they have complete control of the next 30 seconds, because if they lose Baron or lose this engagement badly, then Giants are going to be super far ahead.
And they're going to have a pretty good chance this one. They've got a little bit of time to go until they can engage on to stop Baron, but Baron's healthy enough that Mouse will not get this for free.
And take a look at that. The Chain of Corruption comes down, and the Cyclone is available once more. Samux is tearing through the HP. A beautiful Crescendo actually takes another kill for Sona, picking up a kill there onto Young, but Prathana just gets destroyed in the bottom of the screen while Samux is going toe-to-toe with Naruto Adore. A beautiful Bloom, the weed, the plant pops up, drops Shen down. And not only that, Mousesports surrender. They give up their hopes in first chance Saturday, and they drop to the losers bracket.
2-0 to Giants. Excellent job by them. They have moved in. You can see the crowd cheering them on. You see the